Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by Gage Berdovich, and this is the NFL Week 14 Pick'ems. Gage, how we doing, man?
I'll tell you, I'm feeling pretty good. Good week for football, good week for picks. It's finally gotten cold up here. We had our first sight of snow down here in Pittsburgh. It's a good week. But how are you doing? I gotta ask.
Doing pretty good. My Lions are up right now 10-0. As everybody knows, I have been a Detroit Lions fan from day one on this podcast, representing. And they're looking pretty good right now. The defense is playing really well with all the players out. I mean, it's a great day to be a Lions fan, Gage. You know what I mean, man. Both our teams on a roll, man.
You must just have like this thing for big cats. Going from
That's
the
exactly
Bengals to the Lions.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm a big cat guy, so
Hey, maybe you'll be a Panthers fan.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna be a Panthers fan next year when Bryce Young gets that thing going.
Maybe next week. You never know.
Maybe next week. They almost pulled off my upset last week. I thought they were going to do it. I thought so.
I was watching that game. I was like, "There's no way." The 1 week he picks the Panthers, they're gonna win. The 1 week that I picked them, they got blown out.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to happen. I was like, yeah, because it was against a certain team there, and I was hoping, but it didn't happen. But we all might as well go ahead and address the elephant in the room here. Why not? Gage, congratulations. Pittsburgh Steelers are the better team. They absolutely beat the Bengals, and I think Fields. I think Russell Wilson just threw another pass for 20 yards down the field, or more. Man, well, I mean, it's the Bengals defense is absolutely horrible, but you still have to put up points. I mean, 44 points from Pittsburgh. I mean, that's saying something still. Even though the Bengals defense is bad, that's the most that's been scored on the Bengals all year.
And not only that, it's the most Pittsburgh has scored in a game since 2018. I think Big Ben was the quarterback that year still. Russ had his second best game of his career passing yard wise. And I hope, like you said, I know it's against a bad defense, but I hope it means, we're turning the, what am I trying to think of? Turning the wheel, turning the track, turning the corner a little bit on the offensive situation. But the surprising thing with the Steelers, it reminded me this past week of like 2015, 2016, where we could have an offense that scores, and then a defense that can't do anything. I mean, they picked off Burrow once. They had the forced fumble for the touchdown, but still you let up 38 points. So it's like a thing.
Yeah, it's not your typical AFC North matchup between these two teams, especially. We're used to seeing odd scores like 18-15, 16-15, 23-9. I mean, just weird off the wall kind of scores. And this time we get an offensive shootout. The Bengals, Pittsburgh, I still don't think their defense is, in trouble right now. That Bengals offense can put points up against anybody. They're going to score. Now it's going to be like Burrow's going to have to put up 50 to win now, because this is, I believe it's the fourth or fifth time this year that they've scored 33 or more and have lost. Yeah. Most in the history of the NFL. It's crazy how that is. It just shows how historically bad that defense is for the Bengals, that offense is putting up that many points and still can't get a win.
It's bad. I mean, the Bengals went 3-and-out the first drive, I was like, all right, here we go. Defense is going to be great. This is going to be a defensive game. And then Russ throws the pick six to Taylor Britt. I was like, that's not what we wanted. All right. Should it have been a flag? Probably. But I say, you know what? If you're making a slant route like that and you start stumbling over before you even get touched, who am I to complain on Taylor Britt on just taking advantage of that? Like, I know Pickens wanted the flag. Everybody wanted the flag. Sterator wanted the flag. But I'm here like, he was already stumbling before being touched. Taylor Britt just put his hands on him, and he just happened to fall over. Taylor Britt caught the ball, took it to the house for 51 yards. And after that, it was like, all right, this isn't going to be good. But then they came back, scored the touchdown, Pickens on the screen, and it was
that
like,
could have been a flag.
Yeah.
Too, So, I mean, it canceled it out.
I mean, I don't know. I think that Pickens just got another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as we're here talking, or maybe Joey Porter getting another pass interference call in the end zone.
So that second one that they called on him, it's like they changed the wording a little bit to keep him in there. I mean, he didn't do anything after that, though. He didn't have another catch after that second unsportsmanlike. But, man, we talked about it last week, the temper tantrums thrown by George Pickens, and it comes back and gets him this week. And, I mean, he's got to watch that. He really has to watch that going forward because he is their best wide receiver. And you do that, in a playoff game.
Yeah.
It's going to be disaster.
I like how we'll call it the celebration for unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. After the game, he was like, I was just signaling first down. I don't know why I got it. And I was going around Facebook and Instagram going, well, his name's not Patrick Mahomes, so of course he's going to get the penalty and probably $100,000 fine.
Well, they showed Josh Allen doing the same exact motion for the first down, and like nothing ever gets called on him.
So Josh Allen, Nico Collins did it. It's like, okay, hello, what are we doing? But then no unsportsmanlike penalty when he punts the ball into the stands. Okay, cool.
Makeup calls is what it is. That's all that is right there.
I guess I was like, okay, that probably should be a penalty, but no. Okay, cool.
So in that game, Russ threw for, 400. It seemed like 800 yards, 414 yards. And it was the little screen passes over the middle, like Najee Harris. Like that's usually Jaylen Warren's spot, but it was open all day long. Yeah. And so he just kept hitting it. And why not? Because, the Bengals didn't make any adjustments at all on that.
No.
And so why not just take that? Was it nine passes of 20-plus yards, and most of them were within 2 yards?
It was something like that, yeah. Yeah, it was incredible. Even on top of that, like a couple of the bigger plays where he actually pushed the ball downfield, like to Calvin Austin for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Great catch by him. I thought he dropped it. I did until they showed the replay. I was like, I don't know how he held on to that. The one catch by Van Jefferson for like 40-plus yards when, for whatever reason, the defense goes man-to-man, zero blitz, but the man coverage is 20 yards off the players. I'm like, all right, cool. Why not take that easy strike? That's awesome. And then even, like, I know it's 6-point game. So before the Bengals scored their last touchdown, I was like, 8 minutes left. Pittsburgh's going to blow it. They're going to blow it. I know they're going to blow it. And then since he went down and scored, I was like, see, I'm talking to my roommate. I'm like, see, they're going to blow it. I freaking told you they're going to blow it. And then Justin Fields took off for the first down. I was like, all right. And you didn't slide too early. Let's go.
Oh, I was going to get to that. So everybody in that stadium, everybody at home, Bengals fans, Steelers fans, knew exactly what was coming except for Lou Anarumo and the Bengals defense. It's like Fields is coming in, 3rd down and 4. He's going to take off. He's going to go for the first down, and nobody is over there for him. And it's like, what are we doing? And that was it. I mean, it was a long shot to win at that point anyway, but you would have gave Burrow a chance with a minute and change left.
Yeah.
And then that happens. And it's like, how do they not see that?
I don't know. It's not like in the Ravens game when Fields came in and threw the ball on 3rd down or whatever. That was like midway through the game. Here, he's not going to throw the ball. He's either handing it off or taking off.
Yep.
Why? I don't know the defensive players' names, but why the outside linebackers would have been on Fields' right side both crashed for the running back? I was like, okay, cool, just take off. And I was like, when Fields came in, again, I looked at my roommate and I was like, if he slides too early for the first down, like he did in Baltimore, I'm going to, no offense, break your TV, because that still haunts me when he did it against Baltimore.
He didn't do it here, but man, that play right there, like I said, it was a long shot, but still, it would have given the Bengals a chance. And if I have to turn on First Take again and hear them blame these losses on Joe Burrow, and they're like, well, Patrick Mahomes, he gets by and he wins despite his defense. His defense is winning these games. I mean, they're keeping him in it. He hasn't been great this year. They're like, well, Josh Allen wins despite how many Super Bowls has Josh Allen been to? Okay, yeah, like Burrow's putting up these incredible numbers. It's like, what else are you expecting from the guy? Like, how is that even his fault in these games? It's the defense.
If the Bengals would have won half of the games that they lost, Burrow would be, 1A, 1B with Josh Allen for league MVP. Maybe Saquon at 1C. But the numbers he's putting up is impressive. It is super impressive, and to not be winning the games. Like you said, 33 points scored in 5 games, and you've lost all of them.
Yeah.
How are you going to blame Burrow for that? You're putting up 33 points. How about you blame the defense a little bit?
Yeah, like he had the strip sack. He held on the ball a little long, but I mean, still. But overall, if your defense makes a couple of stops, like even if they give up 30, you feel pretty good about Burrow winning games at that point in time. But, I hate seeing them people talk about how, Burrow should be better and all this. But how can he be any better? What do you want him to put 50 up in a game? 7 touchdowns? Like tie the record every week? What are we doing?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
I mean, I would take these stats: 28 of 38, 309, 3 touchdowns and a pick, taking 4 sacks. That's pretty good. Usually you see that and you're like, okay, cool, we're going to win. Now, he did have 2 lost fumbles, but still, you see it, you're like, great. But when you do not force, like I'm looking, I don't know if we had any punts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had 1 punt, I think, late.
Yeah, 1 punt for 38 yards. If you're making the Pittsburgh team only punt once, you're not going to win, because that means you're actually doing something. Usually we punt like 5, 6, 7 times a game. 1, unheard of.
And can we both agree now, earlier in the year, we were both saying that Fields has earned this spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way Tomlin should put Russell Wilson in instead of Fields. And then, I mean, it's a bad defense, but, man, he's played good the rest of the time too. I mean, for the most part, he's earned the job. I mean, he's really had a renaissance in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, the 414 that he put up, I believe is the second highest of his career, passing yard-wise. And here he is in year 13, 14? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, similar stats as Burrow. 29 of 38. Burrow went 28 of 38. Both of them had 3 touchdowns and a pick. Just Russ had about 100 extra yards on top of that. Russ only took 2 sacks. One of them was he scrambled, slid at the line of scrimmage, so it counted as a sack for 0 yards. And then the other was, well, in that case, it would be a 4-yard loss. So he wasn't taking big sacks. He was moving when he had to. 3 total carries for 3 yards. Longest was 5. He kneeled at the end of the game, whatever. But he was moving around, moving out of the pocket. The touchdown he had, the Freiermuth, was him moving around and being able to throw on the run across his body a little bit. That was like, oh my God, we're watching the 2015 Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Like, this is incredible. Is it going to happen again? Hopefully against Cleveland, but I think we've scored all of our points for the next 2 games in one game. So I don't know.
Cleveland seems to have Pittsburgh's number here lately, it seems like. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that one here in a few. But so before we go on to the games and stuff, there was a Khalil Herbert sighting. 1 carry, 14 yards. Welcome to the Bengals finally.
I was surprised they didn't give him more carries. I'm like, you've only used 2 running backs, Chase Brown, Khalil Herbert. Herbert breaks off 1 long run, and it's like, all right, bye.
Since Zach Moss went down October 27th, that was the first carry by a running back since then. Was Khalil Herbert. He had one early. Well, he had the ball where it was fumbled, but they counted as a fumble, so it wasn't officially a carry. So he's had the first carry since then, since a month and a half, and they finally get a second running back to hand off to. Like, I laughed when he fumbled the first time because, we traded for this guy. But, man, when he rips off a 14-yard run, maybe give him another touch. I don't know. Maybe he's got something. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I mean, he ripped off that run, and the first thing that I thought of was, oh, man, if he keeps ripping off more of these, Brent's just going to tell me, oh, my God, Khalil Herbert owns the Steelers. and then he was nowhere to be seen again.
I'll tell you what I do like that the Bengals did. Instead of taking deep shots on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 to Jermaine Burton, let Jermaine Burton return kicks. I thought he did a good job returning kicks this week. The best anybody has looked returning kicks for the Bengals so far this year. I think that's a good spot for him until, he can figure out the offense a little bit. But right there, you're just taking the ball and you're just running. So I like that spot for him. Thought he did.
Oh, I agree. I thought he did great, especially against the Pittsburgh special teams that overall this season has been really good. A couple big runs given up. Burton did great for him. Boswell had a field goal blocked. So sadly, it goes against him and his numbers, but it was blocked. It's not like he missed it. But when they were lining up for the field goal, I was like, what are the chances he misses it? What are the chances it gets blocked? Like, there's no way, right? And then the Bengals just bull rush over, I forget who the lineman was, and just, boom, blocked. I was like, all right, I guess it's pretty high. Never mind.
Joseph Osai with the block. And, every time Boswell – I don't think Boswell had missed a kick against the Bengals. It didn't seem like it. Every time he kicks against the Bengals, it seems like it's automatic, kind of like Justin Tucker against the Bengals. It seems automatic. It might not be, but I feel like those guys have never missed against the Bengals. So when they got that kick block, I was like, ooh, this is something. And what's the special teams coach? The old guy over there with chewing gum all the time,
with the 10 packs of gum in his mouth, Danny Smith.
Danny Smith, that's it. Yeah, he's getting a lot of TV time this year because that's how good the special teams has been. So for the Bengals to have some good returns and a block kick, I mean, that's a good day for the Bengals special teams wise.
I mean, heck, even when the special teams was even out there, they still showed Danny Smith. I was like, why are they getting TV time? The offense is out there right now. What is going on?
Everybody's in love with Danny Smith right now, I guess.
I mean, I don't know how you can hate the guy, so why not? But still.
Well, that's enough of that game there, if you ask me. The Bengals fall 4-8. Pittsburgh now a 2-game lead in the North. They control their own destiny for sure, and they've got the tiebreaker over the Ravens. So things looking pretty good in Pittsburgh playoff-wise. Let's talk about real quick the wide receiver for Baltimore that refused to go in last week and gets suspended for a game. Deontay Johnson. How about it? Former Steeler.
I'm just like, you know what? I almost don't blame him for refusing to go in. He's had, 1 catch over 3 games so far? You want me to go in? Screw you. You traded for me. You didn't give up anything. But I am better than Rashad Bateman. I am up there with Zay Flowers. And you're not going to use me because you want to save me for later? No. No. I mean, do I think he should have done what he did? No, but I can't blame him either.
Well, what it was he had the under on his receiving yards for that game. So he didn't want to jeopardize that.
I mean, what would his receiving yard line been set at? 5.5? Like,
Yeah, it couldn't have been much. But which was worse, that or Al Shazier getting suspended for 3 games for his hit on Trevor Lawrence?
I watched that hit. I was like, oh my God, he decapitated T Law. Like, there's no way he's getting up from that. And then only 3 games, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be rest of the season, personally. But I mean,
I thought it was going to be rest of the season too. I think it should have been the rest of the season. He's not a first time offender.
no.
Originally, when I first seen the replay, and I thought, well, Lawrence kind of slid a little late. I was like, Al Shazier comes in, and I thought he just hit him, because he couldn't stop. I was like, okay, that's not his fault. You see the slowed down replay, and you see the big elbow pad that he's got on, and he takes and he throws that into Trevor Lawrence. That's where I'm like, yep, you've got to do something with him here. And then, him fighting afterwards, and refusing to go to the locker room, and like, man, I was thinking maybe the rest of the season suspension, or at least the rest of the regular season. He earned it, I believe.
That's what I was thinking too. I saw a video afterwards that fans, since it was in Jacksonville, were throwing things at him as he was coming off the field. And usually I'm like, I can't believe they would do that. Like, that's so unclassy. But I can't blame him for this one. Like, you tried to kill somebody. Throw everything and the kitchen sink at him.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence, he just came back. He hasn't been back very long from an injury. And then for him to come out like that, and then he just like locked up, like, oh man, that's not a good look at all. And his teammates came to his help, because they were ready to fight him, And then for DeMeco Ryans to like kind of blame it on Trevor Lawrence, and the general manager to kind of blame it on Trevor Lawrence, it's like, look, I get you're taking up for your guy, but your guy was wrong at this point. He did that intentionally. You've got to, sometimes you can't take up for your guy, and that's one of the situations. Maybe take a step back.
Well, and I like watching it back. Like, you can see all of the Jaguars players like go after Alshire, and like the Texans players take a little bit to get there to back their guy up. It's like they knew. Well, that was wrong.
Yeah. Just ask Tom Brady what his thoughts are on him. That they showed that game where he starts choking Brady after the play. Pretty sure he's not a big Al Shazier fan.
I wonder if Al Shazier and Vontaze Burfict are best friends, because it almost is what it seems like.
I was a big Vontaze Burfict apologist back in the day. That hit on Antonio Brown, I'm like, he flopped, And then you see how Antonio Brown is, after that, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe he did do some damage to him that day. I don't know. He hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. We really appreciate it here in Pittsburgh.
Tampa Bay probably really appreciates it too, Just, I'm out. Third quarter, I'm done.
Yeah, oh man. I mean, hey, at least the time he played in Tampa, he did score a touchdown, I'm pretty sure. So why not?
Oh yeah. And he got a little bit of time in New England. So I mean, it's not all that bad, but
he played with Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady, so he was good.
Yeah. So before we get into, we got a couple of segments here I'm looking forward to. One is who got killed on Gage's fantasy football team this week. Gage?
So I had a couple.
You didn't have Trevor Lawrence, did you?
No, thankfully.
Okay.
I had him last year, but I decided not to draft him this year. I had a couple people. No, I had a couple people out, but they were also out last week. That was I have to pull up my phone now because Josh Downs, wide receiver for the Colts, and Romeo Doubs, wide receiver for the Packers. But a new injury has indeed arrived after last week. And in fact, it ended up on the player ending on IR. That would be the guy who was supposed to take over for Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, also going on IR. Let's see. Anything else happened? Worst part is I don't know who controls this. The NFL Fantasy app, it still has him as just out, not injured reserve, even though he's placed on it yesterday. Cedric Tillman, also for wide receiver for Cleveland, did not play last week. Let's see, who else? Roma Dunze. I know he was active, but he basically might as well not have played. Let's see, anybody else? For this week, DJ Moore is questionable. So we'll see how that goes. In my sleeper league, I don't think I have or had anybody hurt.
So you said DJ Moore's questionable, but isn't the whole Bears team at this point? I mean, after Thanksgiving last week.
Yeah.
Eberflus is fired.
I mean, hey, DJ Moore had a good game, so I'll take it fantasy-wise. He had a touchdown or two. I think he had two. I forget. He had at least one. My sleeper league, let's see. Mike Evans is questionable for this week, but when isn't Mike Evans questionable? And then defensive player, I have Andrew Van Ginkel in for this week because Bobby Wagner's on bye, and he's a limited participant in practice this week with a thigh injury. So I don't know how this is going to shape up, but it doesn't sound like a very good start to the week.
Oh, man. It's always somebody on that team is injured, on your fantasy team at least. So, oh, man. It
tell
wasn't
me
as
about
bad
it.
as it has been. So,
No,
except this week.
Except the Jordan Mason injury comes on when most of my star players are on bye week, a.k.a. Nico Collins. And I have to start Amari Cooper, who gave up his touchdown last week to Josh Allen, who ended up having a passing and receiving one on the same play.
I have Josh Allen starting at quarterback, so I was okay with that myself. But so now I'd like to get into a new part of the segment, a new part of the show right here. A new segment. It's called Quote of the Week, and it comes from Cleveland quarterback Jameis Winston. He says, I know I'm better. I can be better. I'm praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. And that is our quote of the week.
Amen.
Jameis Winston. Amen. Deliver me from pick sixes. How can you not like Jameis Winston, man?
When I said, I think I said it last week, there's a list of guys that no matter what team they play for, I can't hate them. Jameis is one of them. He'll go out. He proved it against the Broncos. He will sling that thing and not care. Almost 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, technically 6 total touchdowns if you count the pick sixes that he had, 3 interceptions.
600 yards. If you count the pick sixes,
I was like, they were driving at the end there too. I was like, oh man, they're gonna actually they're gonna take the lead here, and we're gonna have to see what Bo Nix can do. And then he throws the pick. He threw it. He did it. It's a pick. Let's go. I'm like, this is the most Jameis Winston game ever. Lots of yards, lots of touchdowns, lots of picks, lots of points.
Absolutely. And just to think, how lucky is Cleveland to actually get somebody that's going to be entertaining back there. They had Deshaun Watson for over half the season. Look what you guys were missing out on this whole time. Cut ties with him, sign Jameis,
You might not Cleveland. You might not win these games, but at least you're going to have a lot of people wanting to see him play.
You're going to have the most entertaining game of the week most weeks, and you're definitely going to have one of the more entertaining pre- and post-game interviews from Jameis Winston. I mean, that's just how it's going to be, so why wouldn't you sign up for that, right?
He could go 0-17 in the season, but you know what? People are still going to go to the games. They're still going to tune in because they don't know what Winston's going to do next.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. 30 for 30, if he played this year, he may still be Mr. 30 for 30 again, and he's going to make a play. That's all I can say. Either way.
Yeah. He might be 40 for 40 at this rate. I don't know.
But that'll be our quote of the week this week, and we may have another quote of the week next week from Jameis. You never know. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not for you. I don't know. Maybe it would be a good thing because he did come with a loss this week on that one. But,
I mean, heck, we could just pull it from his pregame interview. I'm sure we could get a good one there.
we could. He had one the week before and said, the Lord has blessed me and put me here to play in the snow this week. And I'm like, amen, brother.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, man.
We're in Pittsburgh this week. It is cold. No snow expected, though. So that is a good thing. We might have another shootout on our hands.
Ooh. You never know because that Cleveland defense isn't the best either. So, and I think Jameis can put up some points, so it might be.
I hope not. I can't take 2 shootouts in a row.
So we start now with the picks. As right now, Thursday night football is going on. The Detroit Lions, my Detroit Lions, are up 17-7 on the Packers. It's almost halftime. Green Bay's got the ball at their own 21. I think, it is halftime. It just hit halftime. They took a knee. Yeah, so the Lions up 17-7 right now over the Packers.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs just got a receiving touchdown. So that's good for my fantasy team. Also bad because I'm playing against them in another league. So I don't know how I feel about
that. Oh, man. It's kind of bad when you're playing a guy that you've got on your own team. That's, yeah. So the first game of the week, 1:00, the Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's a 3.5-point favorite. Trevor Lawrence is out. These two teams are out of playoff contention. What do you think about this AFC South matchup, Gage? Should be a game.
It'll definitely be a game. That is for sure. When Mac Jones came in last week, he ended up not doing bad in relief of T. Law. Like, he almost pulled out the victory. Went 235, 2 touchdowns, 62.5 completion percentage. So I was like, dang, this isn't half bad. But then I have to remember who it is. It's Mac Jones. So you give and you take a little bit here with this one. Titans on the other side, the offense, for the most part, has looked pretty decent ever since Will Levis has come back, which is scary to say. I don't know where this came from. But I know I'm saying this after they got walloped by the Commanders. But the Commanders are a decent team. So, take what you want with that. They knocked off the Texans. They had a good game against the Vikings, a good game against the Chargers. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is a touchdown machine. That's about it. He doesn't really get much else, but he's a touchdown machine. Previous weeks, 2, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's like, if you have an anytime touchdown scorer in a bet, probably Westbrook-Ikhine is a good one to go with. I like the Titans in this one, mainly because I think they're just the overall better team right now. Even if Trevor Lawrence was in, I would probably still go with the Titans. Give me the Titans, give me the points, and let's just move away from that game.
And, Westbrook-Ikhine, one of those weeks, I'm pretty sure he's the one that had the 99-yard touchdown pass.
Yes.
Reception. Yeah. Yep. So, that's one catch for that. I mean, that's a pretty good average. So Will Levis had like a 2-game streak where he threw a touchdown of 70 or more yards for a pass, a passing touchdown of 70 or more yards. That came to an end last week against the Commanders. He did not have that, but they got beat by a pretty good Commanders team last week. Got beat down pretty good. Like you said, Mac Jones come in and played pretty good last week in relief of Trevor Lawrence. He didn't play too bad either when Lawrence was out the first couple of weeks either. Man, this game, like you said, let's just go on and get out of this game right here. This is not going to be a good one at all. I've got Tennessee winning this one too. I think that the Jaguars will cover, and it'll be a competitive game, whatever that means between these two teams. But it'll be competitive. But yeah, give me the Titans.
Yeah, that
And now,
Westbrook Akine one. It was a 98-yard touchdown. He finished the game two catches for 117. So I mean,
it's still pretty decent average, for the game. Oh, so we go to the next 1:00 game and another 3-win team. The 3-9 New York Jets travel to Miami to face the 5-7 Miami Dolphins. Miami's a 5.5-point favorite. Gage, I think the Jets are now finally out of playoff contention. What do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, if you go and ask Aaron Rodgers, he might say, no, we still have a chance at it, I think. We still have a chance, man. I think we're good. We just got to get on the right page. Got to keep working at practice. Dude, your team sucks. You better just retire after this season. Dolphins are just going to mollywop you. I know it's a division matchup. I have no faith in the Jets. It's in Miami. So all signs are pointing to Miami to just run away with this one. I mentioned him last week, Jonnu Smith. Again, another great game last week. I think it was like 7 for 77 or something like that. As I'm trying to pull it up and buy
10 for 113.
Okay, maybe I was a little off. But 10 for 113. That's right, because that was a Thanksgiving game. No touchdowns, unfortunately, for my fantasy team. But he's become one of the better pass catchers out of the Miami offense. And that's an offense full of Tyreek Hill, full of Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert. He's like the go-to guy, which is weird to say in the entire Jonnu Smith career. I don't think that's almost ever been the case. Give me the Dolphins. Give me the points. The Jets, I don't even know if they'll get off the plane to show up to the game.
Yeah, that last week, I mean, they had a lead on the Seahawks, and it's like, oh, look at here. The Jets are – I mean, I even picked the Jets, last week in these pick'ems. Not again. That is done and over with. I've picked the Jets too many times this year, and they have not won half of what I've picked. I'm like, well, they're going to turn around this time. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's eventually going to find it, and he's going to be the old Aaron Rodgers at least for one game. And I'm not waiting around anymore. I'm not doing it no more. I'm not picking them anymore. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they lost to the Packers, but like we talked about last week, it was in Green Bay. It was really cold in Green Bay. Yeah. You go to Miami, it's not as cold in Miami as it is in Green Bay. So that's going to make a little bit of a difference there. It's supposed to be 80 degrees Sunday in Miami. So the difference between that and 14, 15, whatever it was in Green Bay, big difference in playing. The Jets, they're not good. It's not just the quarterback. It's everything. They need a brand new restart, reboot, rebuild in New York. Give me Miami and give me Miami to cover this spread. I think that they're going to win big in this one here because the Jets, I believe, have quit for the year. So give me Miami. Oh, the next matchup, 1:00, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Minneapolis to face the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, a 5.5-point favorite. Gage, who do we have in the Kirk Cousins Bowl?
The Kirk Cousins Bowl, I think Kirk Cousins is not going to get his revenge. A horrible game last week from him. 4 picks. The Chargers defense played out of their mind. Still almost lost, but they played out of their mind. Vikings, I think, right now are the better team, which if this was, week 2, week 3, I may not have said that because the Vikings actually looked decent. But I got to wonder, do they think about going to Michael Penix over Kirk? I don't think so, at least not right now. You paid the guy $100 million for 4 or 5 years. I don't think you can go to Penix. But give me the Vikings, but I think Atlanta will cover.
Yeah, the Falcons last week, Kirk Cousins, 4 interceptions. Not good at all. A defensive game for sure in that. And this is like a total difference of Kirk Cousins from years previous to this year. It used to be he used to kill the 1:00 time slot, right? And primetime Kirk Cousins was not, good at all. It's kind of the opposite this year. I mean, he had 509 yards in prime time, and he's been getting crushed and hasn't looked good in the 1 o'clock slots, whatever that means. But he's not 1 o'clock slot Kirk Cousins anymore. The Vikings, on the other hand, they scored a late touchdown with a minute something to pull past Arizona. So I mean, they were in a ball game last week. 10-2. Do they feel like they're a 10-2 team? I don't think they do. I mean, they're good. They've won games, all this, but they don't feel 10-2. I don't trust Sam Darnold when it comes to playoff time. But for this week here, I trust him in this game. I don't think Kirk Cousins, like you said, is getting his revenge in Minneapolis. Give me the Vikings in this one, but I think the Falcons will cover. I think they'll keep it close, actually. But man, Kirk Cousins, or not Kirk Cousins, but Sam Darnold, I think, has found him a new favorite target, and Jordan Addison. He has been throwing to him quite a bit lately, over Justin Jefferson, actually. Well, Jefferson had a lot of yards last week, but the week before he didn't. And it was, 99 yards for Jefferson. But Addison has really picked it up here recently for Sam Darnold. So, we'll see how it goes this Sunday, but I've got Minnesota winning this one. And then the next matchup we got, 1 o'clock matchup on Fox, the New Orleans Saints at 4-8. Boy, this is a good one here too. Travel to New York to face the 2-10 New York Giants. Wow. Neither one of these teams is very good at all. New Orleans is a 4-point favorite in this one. Gage looks like he may be having a little bit of difficulty here, but we'll see if we can get him back on here real quick. And yeah, we'll see if we can get him going here because this is not going to be a good game either, I don't think. Not good game at all. Both these teams are awful. The Saints have had some spots this year where you think maybe they can, maybe they won't. They've looked decent in some games. I thought when they got Marquez Valdez-Scantling that they would be, pretty good. They looked pretty good with him first couple of weeks. And then last week they had a chance, but they couldn't do it. Derek Carr, was not the best that he could have been last week in that game in their loss last week. Let's see. Who did they lose to? They lost to the Rams. They had a chance to beat the Rams, but they didn't. But I think this one here, I think the Saints are going to win, though. The Giants are just awful, man. They talk about a team that needs a rebuild. It's the Giants. Losing on Thanksgiving last week with Drew Lock, Cooper Rush and them, they beat them. I mean, that was an ugly game on Thanksgiving. I mean, the Giants kept it kind of close. Malik Neighbors, he does what he does there. But, hey, Gage is back. Can you hear me, Gage?
Can you hear me?
Oh, man. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, I was just saying,
all right, so,
we were getting ready to do the Saints. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sorry, my internet went out there. We love Pittsburgh weather.
Oh, it's good. I was just sitting here filibustering for a little bit, and I went on to the next game. I went and I picked the Vikings in the Kirk Cousins Bowl, and then we was at the Saints and the Giants, and I was just talking about how neither one of these teams are very good either, and how awful that Thanksgiving game was last week. But I'm going to roll with the Saints in this one. I think that they win just because the Giants are that bad. Man, it don't matter if it's Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito or who back there. I think that the Saints are the better team of the two. So I'm going to take the Saints in this one. I think that the Saints will probably cover this.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. Saints, they got their playmaker. I've talked about before. Valdez-Scantling, another touchdown again last week on it wasn't as long. It was 27 yards. But still got that. Kamara again over 100 yards last week. And just the Giants are just bad. I'm going to take the Saints as well, and I think they'll cover and probably be like a 14, 18-point game.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. The next 1 o'clock matchup, the Carolina Panthers travel to Philly to face the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is a 13.5 point favorite. Gage, are you ready to pull out your upset pick of the week right now?
That's actually amazing that you said that because I was, and I still am.
Oh,
Upset
oh,
pick of the week. You did it last week because you hate Tampa Bay. I'm doing it this week because I hate Philly. Upset pick of the week. Give me the Panthers over the Eagles. Panthers have been playing pretty good since Bryce Young's come back. He's lost a few games. He's won a game, maybe. Two
yeah,
games,
a
maybe.
game.
But you're going into overtime against Tampa Bay. You should win. Tampa Bay punch you the ball, and then you turn it over on a fumble to allow them to score the field goal. And then you lose on a 0-0-0 on the clock field goal to Kansas City. You're playing incredible. Philly's also playing incredible. Actually, knock on wood, looking forward to this game. I'm not going to be watching it because there's other important games on at this time, but I think it's going to be a good
Tennessee,
game.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Jets, Miami. But yeah, give me the underdogs in this one, and obviously with that, give me the points.
Well, so last week I picked Carolina. They should have won, but this week I don't think I can roll with you on this one here. I can't do it 2 weeks in a row. I don't guess. I'm going to roll with Philly in this one. Last week, Bryce Young had almost 300 yards passing, I think, in
Like
that
that,
game.
yeah.
Played pretty good. He's played good since he's taken back over. But what's kind of concerning is for Carolina, they give up 152 yards rushing to Bucky Irving. Saquon's going to have a field day out here Sunday, I believe. He's going to run all over him. I believe it's not going to be good for Carolina in that sense. Philly's looking like one of the best teams in the NFL right now at this point. The way they played, they dominated the Ravens last week. The score was closer than what it was at the end. But give me Philly in this one. I don't think they're going to cover the spread. I think it's going to be at least a 10-point win. Carolina will keep it close for a little while. Philly will pull away to where they're kind of comfortable at the end. But give me Philly to win this one. And give me Saquon to have a big day once again. The next 1 o'clock matchup. The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Tampa Bay to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa is a 6.5 point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one here?
I can never pick the Raiders. I can't do it. They're a bad football team. I feel like I know where your pick is going, but I'm gonna take Tampa. Give me the Bucks. Give me the points. I know it was a close game last week between them and Carolina, but Bucky Irving, like you mentioned, 152. Rashad White and Sean Tucker have seemed to take a back seat, which I think is actually kind of unexpected. But 152, Mike Evans, the leading receiver for Tampa Bay, as normal, another touchdown. He might not get his 1,000-yard season that he's had literally every year in his career, but I think he's going to have a nice game. Give me Tampa Bay in this one. Give me the points.
Yeah, so like I said, Bucky Irvin had 152 yards last week. Baker's been playing pretty decent all year. The Raiders, on the other hand, they should have beat the Chiefs on Black Friday. I mean, they had a chance there to beat the Chiefs. But, I don't know what great value Derek Carr was looking at or what the center was doing. He's clearly not looking there, and the center snaps the ball, and, GVDC, as we'll call him, couldn't get to it, and it's like, oh, man, you guys had a chance to beat the Chiefs. You could kick a field goal and win this thing.
Yeah.
And, of course, the Chiefs, by the skin of their teeth once again. The best player in this game may actually play for the Raiders, if you ask me. Brock Bowers, once again last week. I mean, it's week after week with this guy. If he wasn't playing for the Raiders, people would be talking a lot more about him for, Rookie of the Year. 10 catches last week, 140 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's really all they've got. And he's like basically uncoverable. So
Yeah.
I think that he has a big week again this week against Tampa. And I'm taking the Vegas Raiders for my upset pick of the week. Vegas beats Tampa Bay this week straight up. And is anybody shocked by that?
I feel like anytime the Bucks are involved in a matchup, that's going to be your upset pick of the week.
It's pretty simple when they're the favorites. I was like, well, I know my upset is this week, and Green Bay just scored a touchdown.
Yep.
17-14. So the last 1 o'clock matchup of the week, the 3-9 Cleveland Browns travel to Pittsburgh to face the 9-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is a 6.5-point favorite. Gage, coming off of the big high of the win last week offensively, you think they can continue it this week against the Cleveland Browns, or are we in for a normal AFC matchup? AFC North matchup?
I think it's going to be a normal AFC North matchup, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out with this victory. They lost to Cleveland in the last one. It was a close game. Winston is still the turnover machine, but he's, the touchdown yardage machine as well. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh. Give me the Steelers. Give me the points. Be interested to see what you do since, again, you went, against Pittsburgh and they won.
So it's not supposed to snow this week, right? We're going to get a clear game. No snow game this week. Jameis Winston's earpiece microphone is going to stay in his helmet the whole time, right?
Maybe.
But, they played an entertaining game last time that these two teams met up in. There was snow everywhere. They just played just a couple weeks ago. Pittsburgh's probably want to get a little revenge over the Browns. The Browns, they play Pittsburgh tough every time. A normal AFC North matchup, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be more of an offensive game here. I know Pittsburgh's got a really good defense, but I just think that if it's clear out there, no snow, I think that it's going to be a lot of points scored. It's going to come down to if Jameis Winston can, keep from turning the ball over. Yeah. I don't think he can. Unfortunately for Jameis, he's going to be entertaining. He's going to be exciting. He's going to put up a lot of points. He's going to put up a lot of touchdowns. Either way, I'm going to roll with Pittsburgh in this one. I think Pittsburgh wins, but I think Cleveland covers. Give me a Cleveland cover and give me a Pittsburgh win in this one.
I don't like the fact that you
think the side there. I don't think you like my pick.
No, I don't, because whenever you pick Pittsburgh, they always lose. And that just worries me. Joey says Winston has the Steelers number, and I have to agree. He beat him last time. It feels like every time we've played Jameis, no matter where he's at, even if he's not the starter, we still lose to him. And I hate it. I hate this Winston voodoo magic curse that he has on Pittsburgh. But I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that they'll come out and, get the win in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the curse is going to get reversed after this week. That's what I'm saying. So there we go.
If they lose on Sunday, we're going to come back on here next week, and you are never allowed to pick Pittsburgh ever again.
I will be here next week with my Lions gear on as a Lions fan, and I will not pick Pittsburgh anymore if that's the case. But yeah, that's what we'll do next week. So we move into the late window, the 4:05, and this game, has a lot of playoff implications here. The NFC West is up for grabs when the Seattle Seahawks at 7-5 travel to Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals, 6-6. Arizona is a 2.5-point favorite. Gage, we have joked about a certain short quarterback for Arizona and his love for Call of Duty. And, man, are we right now? We can continue to talk about this, right, after the past few weeks?
I really didn't think that they would go out last week and just, not score a touchdown. Like, what are we doing here? Your best receiver is Trey McBride, and he has 12 catches, but less than 100 yards. Like that, okay, cool, I guess. This is a game that the division is a very average, a very mid division. And well, the top 4 teams, 5-5, 6-7, whatever, is like, what are we doing here? But I think this is going to be a good one. I think Seattle's going to come out with the win, though. Overall, they just seem like the better team at this point. If Arizona can score some touchdowns, maybe we're looking at a different conversation. But right now, offensive-wise, Seattle is overall better. And I even think defensive-wise they are. So give me Seattle, give me the points.
So these two teams, they played each other just a couple of weeks ago. Seattle won 16-6. And that was when we were like, okay, here we go. This is what we were waiting on. It's Kyler Murray has been waiting on Call of Duty, and Call of Duty's out. And he's finally getting into the lab and playing that Call of Duty instead of studying that playbook and watching the scouting reports. But, Seattle, they come back last week and they beat the Jets after getting down. They're pretty good on offense. They've played really well recently to take that lead in the NFC West. And for Arizona, they said they're finally going to start getting Marvin Harrison Jr. involved a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he had 5 catches for 60 yards, a touchdown. Why haven't you been trying to do this earlier in the year? Like, what? I know Trey McBride is awesome, but you got Marvin Harrison out there too. Don't forget about him. Maybe try to involve him a little bit more. I don't know. But I think there'll be another Ohio State wide receiver for Seattle that's going to have a big game this week, Smith-Njigba. He's been playing real well lately. Give me Seattle in this one too. I think that they pull the upset here on the road, and the Seahawks win, and they take a commanding lead in the AFC West.
And you mentioned
NFC West.
NFC, yeah. But you mentioned Smith-Njigba. It's finally great to see him having, a decent season. I've always liked Smith-Njigba, but it's always felt like he hasn't had the chance to show out, show off. When you've had, Tyler Lockett, Mr. Consistent ahead of you, and you have DK Metcalf ahead of you, it's hard to show up. And you have a great running game, so you don't have to rely, pass-heavy attacks. So to see this good season that he's finally able to put together, I'm just happy to see it. I liked him out of college. I liked when Seattle selected him. I like the player overall.
Yeah, and Geno Smith seems to like him too. Packers with a pick, and then they score a touchdown just now, and they take the lead right now on Thursday Night Football. We head to the 425 matchup, and the Buffalo Bills travel to LA to face the 6-6 LA Rams. Buffalo, a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, Buffalo looked really good last week in their win. What do you think about it this week?
I think they're going to do it again. Buffalo seems to be the most unstoppable team right now in the NFL. Nothing the Rams can do, nothing maybe Kansas City can do since the Bills handed them their loss. There's really not a lot that can be done against this team, which is odd because they don't have that star number 1 receiver. Like Keon Coleman's there. He seems to be playing good for a rookie. Amari Cooper is there. He's not getting the target share that I thought he would have being traded over from Cleveland. Other guys like Shakir, he's been there for a while, but he's not a household name. James Cook is having a pretty decent season, which is interesting because I didn't think he really would. I didn't think Cook was that good of a running back coming into the season. Defensive-wise, they're playing out of their mind. The safeties are playing great. Everyone's playing great. Speaking of Buffalo safeties, they signed Micah Hyde back to the team today after he was just a free agent and elected to not sign with anyone this season. So he's back. And being that, it's Buffalo, he knows the defense. I wonder how long it's going to take for him to play.
Might play Sunday. Just
Yeah.
slide right in there if he's game shape ready. I mean, I don't know, but his old team right now is taking the lead over the Lions.
But yeah, I think I guess I didn't really answer. Give me the Bills, give me the points.
Yeah, so Buffalo last week just absolutely dominated San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey out, for the season with what happened, his knee, I guess what happened. But that game in the snow, fun game to watch. All them snow games. Them snow games are the best to watch, right, Gage? We love snow games around here, right, Gage?
Usually I'd say yes. I would say yes. It's a real, run heavy snow game like this one was. There's been a certain other snow game this year, though, that wasn't a real run heavy snow game, even after it started coming down.
That's when the offense picked up, is when it started coming down that time. But
yeah,
Buffalo, they got that home field advantage up there, and they may get the number 1 overall seed. We'll see, but they just, like you said, they look unstoppable right now. The Rams on the other side, they won last week at New Orleans. Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Stafford. That offense has looked okay. They didn't score a whole lot last week. They kind of have taken a step back a little bit the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Buffalo in this one. I think Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo covers here because I don't think the Rams are all that great. Although they've looked better, they still haven't been a complete team so far, I don't think. And I don't think it's going to happen this week against the Bills. Definitely not against the Bills. Not a team you can get right against, I don't think.
No.
The last 425 matchup, the Chicago Bears travel to San Francisco to face the San Francisco 49ers. Niners are a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, the Bears firing Matt Eberflus last week. What do you think about this matchup here? You think they got a shot against San Fran?
It wouldn't surprise me. The Bears fired Eberflus. We really don't know what to expect now from Chicago. It's one of those games that's like, what is going to happen? I don't know. Because I mentioned earlier, McCaffrey and Mason ending up on IR to end the season. So that means Isaac Guerendo's going to be the lead running back. Who else do they have at running back? They just claimed, I think he was waived by the Jets on Monday. Pitt running back, Izzy Abanikanda. They claimed him. I think they're signing him right to the active roster and activating him. So I'm going to be interested to see how the touches get split between the two of them. Offensive-wise in general, it's going to be interesting to see how the Niners can bounce back after being demolished against Buffalo. But I think they'll be able to do it. I'm going to take the Niners in this one. So give me the Niners. Give me the points.
So the Bears fired Matt Eberflus earlier in the year. See, I like this theory here that when a team fires a coach, the next game they come out wanting to prove something. I think that this week the Bears go out to San Francisco with a new coach, interim coach. That offense looked decent last week, some of the time for the Bears. Caleb Williams got his knees blown completely out because of slowing down, trying to gain a little extra on the sidelines there. Just go on and get out of bounds, man. It ain't worth that. No. But I think that they come out this week and they go into San Francisco without Christian McCaffrey, without Jordan Mason, still got Purdy. The Niners have been down this year. Interim coach for the Bears comes in and they go all the way out to San Francisco and they pull off another loss. Give me the San Francisco 49ers in this one. I think San Francisco wins, and I think San Francisco will cover this too. The Bears are just the Bears this year. They're just competitive, but not good. They screw something up at the end, and I think that same thing will happen this time. So give me the Niners.
Man, that was good. You had me all the way.
And the next matchup, we go to Sunday night. The LA Chargers travel to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Kansas City is a 4-point favorite in this one. Gage, you liking another upset special here, or we just staying with the one earlier, or what are you feeling?
I kind of like the upset here. I know they don't have JK, and that's they're big running, but offensive wise, they have all the weapons possible. You got Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly, Gus Edwards, Justin Herbert. It's like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, wow, we're actually doing something. They were a run-heavy team at the beginning of the season. Now they're kind of transitioning to a pass-heavy team. Chiefs, they've come down to the wire in a lot of their games this year. I mean, how many other games this season have ended up as one-score games? A lot of them. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but a lot of them. They pulled a rabbit out of their hat to beat the Raiders last week on what was potentially supposed to be a false start if you look at the ref coming in from the top of the screen, in which case it would have given the Raiders the ball back, pre-snap penalty, dead ball. But instead it somehow turns to illegal shift, motion, however they called it. Which, weird how that works. But yeah, so win by 2 against the Raiders, win by 3 against the Panthers, win by 2 against the Broncos, win by 6 against the Bucs, 7 against the Raiders, 7 against the Chargers earlier in the season. I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. Give me that upset. I think it's going to be a really good game. I do. Ladd just killing it this season. Another good, I think, underrated rookie. So give me the Chargers. Give me the points. Second upset pick of the week.
Yeah, Joey said Ladd's on a tear right now, and he sure is. He was decent last year at Georgia. He made some catches in some playoff games, but you never thought this guy would be one of the top wide receivers for an NFL team this year.
No.
And here he is playing for Jim Harbaugh, as the best wide receiver, 117 yards last week, looking pretty good. The Chargers, like you said, they're without J.K. Dobbins. You got the Gus bus back there. The Chiefs, on the other hand, I think they've had 14 straight one-possession wins. 14 games in a row where they've won that have been decided by one possession.
Whoa.
That is like good and lucky at the same time, like extremely both ways. Yeah. I'm with you here. I think that ends this week. I know it's in Arrowhead. It's at nighttime, but this streak has got to end at some point in time. Give me the Chargers with the upset in this one too. I'm with you, man. Go Chargers. They go into Arrowhead and Kansas City's streak runs out. And they start going on kind of a slide at the end, heading into the playoffs. I think the Chargers win this one here. It should be a good game, but yeah, Chargers.
I certainly hope so. I need the Chiefs to lose one, at least, one, maybe 2 more before they play Pittsburgh on Christmas. Yeah, man, if they come in and win until Pittsburgh, I'm going to be so unconfident about it. It's not going to be funny.
Yeah, that, if the Chiefs lose, Buffalo, the playoffs may go through Buffalo and all that snow, and what a home field advantage to have, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then we head to Monday night, 8:15 on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus, wherever you get Hulu Plus, Disney Channel, wherever. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Arlington to face the Dallas Cowboys. Cincinnati is a 5-point favorite. Before the last couple of weeks, this is the Simpsons game. They will have a game where they are animated like the Simpsons. Before I was going to watch the regular broadcast. I think now I'm just going to watch the whole Simpsons broadcast because why not at this point, right? Gage, who you got in this one?
Cincinnati has to win this. Like, you can't lose to Cooper Rush and Nadeska Worth. Well, that too. But you can't lose to the Cowboys, who let's face it, you lost Dak, and even when they had Dak, I know we lost to him, but when you had Dak, you still weren't that good of a team, which is crazy because you have all the star power, you had all these expectations coming into the year, and even with all your stars, you're not living up to it. But I don't really know, like, if they do lose this week, meaning the Bengals. I don't know how you're going to react next week, and I don't know if you'll even be here next week for the show. Joey might have to come on and do this for you.
Yeah,
but
Joey may have to. I may have to tag him in. Yeah.
no defense at all for Bengals, but I think the offensive power for the Bengals will be able to just do what they have to do. So give me Cincy, give me the points, and let's hope that Cincinnati wins this one.
Yeah, this one right here. Man, the prime time Monday night football game everybody was hoping to see for the Simpsons broadcast. You got Bart and Homer over here. You got Cooper Rush and Joe Burrow, which one of those sounds really good, and the other one is Monday night game. Thanksgiving, Cooper Rush led the Cowboys to a win. Hey, they won on Thanksgiving. Who did they play? Oh, they played the Giants. Yeah, so
Yeah.
They can make anybody look good, right? I got a feeling, though, they put up 27 against the Giants. They may put up 27 against the Bengals. But Joe Burrow and them, I think, is going to put up more than 33 in this one. And I think that they win, finally, putting up more than 30-some points and winning a game finally in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, whatever. Give me the Bengals in this one. They have to win this game. I mean, they're still in the playoff hunt. That's done and over with. I mean, they're still technically alive, so that don't matter either way. But I think that they win this game because, like you said, they have to. I think they cover. Give me a cover, but I think Cowboys are going to score a lot of points, though. Unfortunately, I think that they're still going to score because I believe anybody can score on this defense. I mean, not everybody's going to score 44, but, I mean, 24 is very doable, 24-27 for Cowboys. So, yeah, but give me the Bengals.
Have to. I would love to see the Lions offense play against the Bengals defense now. Just to see how many points they throw.
Well, my Lions would score a lot of points, I believe, on that Bengals defense.
I think these cats would just claw at each other because it doesn't feel like either of them really has a defense.
No, it don't. And, the Lions seemed like they had a defense earlier in the season, but recently, I don't know.
Well, when you're signing players off the streets to come play, D end or you're bringing in you traded for Zadarius Smith. You brought in Jamal Adams as a free agent, and he's playing tonight. And there is, I think, one other guy, too, that they signed that's like, oh, this is actually a big name, but not someone you would expect. And as we're saying that, the Lions scored a touchdown to retake the lead. Yep. I believe it was Tim Patrick.
Yep.
Who had that on their bingo card for tonight? I could say, not me.
Nobody. Oh, man. Well, yeah, so, the Lions here, I mean, this is, becoming a back and forth game here. A little seesaw battle. Will be interesting to see how it turns out, shakes out. I mean, what are the Packers? They're 8-3, something like that.
I believe 9-3. Yeah.
9-3. So, I mean, if they win this one here, they still got a shot at the division.
Yeah. And it's crazy. They're 9-3 and third in their division. Like, what is going on?
It's because, hey, we've got the Vikings and the Lions in the same division. It's like, well, that sucks for you all.
Like, let's put the Packers in the NFC West. You know what? They already have the division locked up then. All right, cool.
Yeah. The bye weeks this week, the Broncos, Colts, Patriots, Commanders, Ravens, and Texans. I'm not sure, but is this the last week for byes?
I feel like it might be. Yeah. I
It's about
think,
that time where everybody plays.
which
Sure.
good for my fantasy team, but not for this week.
It's a lot of buys. Yeah, this is the last week for buys, so get your rest in, everybody, and get ready for the season. So
It's going to be nice, having Baltimore on bye this week. If the Steelers pull out a win and are able to jump, what would that be, 2.5, 3 games ahead in first place? Going down the hardest stretch of your schedule, you have this huge cushion now to where it's like, all right, you could, I don't want you to, but you could trip up a game or two and still have an advantage.
yeah, it'd be huge if they could win this week with Baltimore being off, where they've already got the tiebreaker over them. So I mean, that would definitely help out a whole lot. And you would, like you said, you could trip up, and it wouldn't really matter. You still pretty much have that division locked up. Before we go, I want to ask you about a little baseball real quick. So there was an idea floated around about the golden at bat rule. What's your thoughts on the golden at bat rule, Gage?
I hate it. I don't know how
Same.
you would. How would you implement that? Like if you I'm imagining the Pirates lineup right now. Their best hitter, Brian Reynolds. If you're usually Reynolds is like 1 or 2, maybe 3, sometimes 4. Maybe he's down at the bottom of the lineup. We don't have a consistent lineup. But let's say he's in at number 4. If you're 1 and 2 guys, like say you get a single and then a double, you have guys on second and third. Would you just say, all right, hey, Reynolds, golden at bat, go up there? Does he get 2 at bats in a row? Like, this does not make sense. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I never thought about that right there, but I mean, I guess it would be right because it's just I don't know. Would he hit and then they pinch run for him with who was supposed to be in the lineup? Is that what you do? I don't know, but I think it's silly. It's a little really gimmicky. We've already got the stupid ghost runner in extra innings that they implemented in COVID year. Like, we don't need that one. We definitely don't need this one. I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
Got that. You got the one where, sorry, you're not allowed to change your defense. You can move from here to here in this certain position, but don't you dare cross that line.
Yeah. It's if they implement that, I mean, they're really reaching right here. Like it's becoming way too gimmicky, I believe, in this. But I just want to see if you were down for the golden at bat rule or if you were against it like I am.
Oh, absolutely against it. I'm also against the Pirates just not spending any money. They went one of their best relievers last year, Aroldis Chapman. Let's not bring him back. Let him go sign in Boston for a 1-year, 10.75 whatever million. I could understand if he went to a contender. I don't think Boston's a contender, so I don't think he's really ring chasing. So are you telling me they just didn't offer him that money? That's ridiculous. Come on. What do you have now? Nothing.
I know the feeling there when it comes to baseball. My team doesn't like to spend money either. Definitely. So there was somebody floated out some more ideas that Manfred could, come up with. The outfielders wear ice skates. Why not, right? You honk the hockey goal horn every time somebody gets an extra base hit. Players who commit errors are automatically sent to the penalty box. Players who strike out can attempt a triple axel and earn a hitter another strike.
I'd be down for that one.
Pitchers just throw underhanded. No fielders. Children will man the outfield just like in the home run derby. Hey fans, you make the lineup by texting your player's favorite number to 966-443. You're in control. Standard text messaging place may apply. Just a few ideas.
Why don't we just add like some of the banana ball rules? Like if it's a foul ball into the crowd, but someone catches it, guess what? Batter's still out.
Batter's out. Yeah.
Oh man.
It may get to that point for long. I mean, it's like you said, the Savannah Bananas out here for the major leagues. They're still in their ideas for long. Why
Yeah.
not?
Oh, I like the one with the triple axle of the hitter to earn another strike. I would, you know what? I might go to more baseball games if that was the case, because with the way the Pirates strike out a lot, that'd be entertaining.
Oh, it'd be very entertaining. I'd be down for it too. Why not? Why not just
Yeah.
make it as gimmicky as can be if we're going to do this golden at bat? Let's just go all in at that point. Come on,
And,
Rob Manfred.
and like if there's an error, maybe they get hit on like a 2-base penalty, maybe a 5-run penalty, automatic second base.
Or like it says, have the penalty box over in the dugout area on the other side of the dugout. That way they go and sit there and they're short a fielder for the next inning.
I was gonna
And
say,
there
how
you
long
are.
would it be? Like
Yeah.
there's different time limits in hockey, so would there have to be different like length of penalty box in baseball?
Yeah, maybe you either go batters or you go for the rest of the inning without the shortstop who just committed an error.
maybe
Either way.
Yeah, maybe it's like if the batter gets like a single and a 2-base error, maybe the person that committed that error is in the penalty box for 2 batters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we
And
can
if you
work
have
this out some way.
Yeah, and if you have people that commit, multiple errors on the same play, good luck.
I think we get these ideas up right here, we jot them down, and we send them to the commissioner's office. I think we can get something done.
Let's see here. MLB Commissioner's Office email. Let's see if we can figure this out. No. Okay, that's great. Apparently, no one knows what the email is.
We'll get it figured out. We'll get these all in there. Joey said backflip on the catch is automatic 2 outs. There we go.
I like that one. That would make it entertaining. I couldn't imagine like a Rowdy Tellez trying to do a backflip, but it'd be pretty cool.
Well, that'll do it this week for the picks and a little baseball talk at the end there, a little silly golden bat rule. But we'll be back here next week and, go Lions, right? My Lions, your Steelers. And we'll see you all next week here on the show.
Later.
There we go. I think we got to stop.